Welcome everybody to another week of Sandwich Talk. If you aren't familiar with the show, welcome. My name's Carlos. I host the show from my kitchen, but also I've been hosting this from a few other places all around town. I guess it just kind of depends. Today's from the kitchen. This show started off as a podcast, a chance for me to hang out with my friends in the studio. We eat 3 sandwiches from one place, and we talk about the sandwiches, talk about other sandwiches we like, and we just kind of BS. It's been a lot of fun. But then when the pandemic happened, we couldn't do that anymore. So what do? I started making sandwiches in my kitchen while on the digital virtual way, having a friend make sandwiches in their kitchen. But I also missed supporting other local businesses. So we started doing sandwich talk on location at different places. And then also today, we're bringing different places home, which is awesome because today we're going to eat sandwiches from a place called the Charlevoix in Grosse Pointe. If you haven't tried it out yet, I'm stoked. We're going to show you what it's like. It all looks amazing. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm really excited. But also, the more important thing today is I get to hang out with a friend. And that friend is a friend of mine who I'm very proud to say I've known here in the city for a long time. Somebody who has carried me through and through from place to place, knowing people, learning things, understanding the relationships of the community, and truly bringing up and showing the world what Detroit has to offer. This person has been the shining light of this community and has always been there to help to push forward. And I'm super stoked to have this person on the podcast again. If you want to check out the original version, it's on Spotify. But today we got her here virtually, my friend, Sara Aldridge.
Hi, that was like quite the introduction. I hope I live up to my name and description here, because geez.
Well, you're kind of like the shit. I don't know. I've told you before, like I learned so much about what we do in this city, the art community, the music community, even the food community I've been introduced to because of you. You were able to introduce me to so many people.
Well, I'm also equally inspired by you. And I feel like I was laughing because I was like, between you and I feel like we pretty much got the city covered. It's like a dangerous duo. But I'm also very inspired by the work that you do and always trying to evolve, especially in light of the pandemic, of like doing what you do in the food industry and like making it work and, continuing to be an ambassador of a lot of amazing things that are happening in the city. So
thank you.
I'm glad I can be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. I miss hanging out with you. Anytime that I've ever like either talked to you online or like we've run into each other, it's just like, how can we catch up over the course of just this short period of time?
Like in the wine department in Western Market the other day, which was amazing. It was like you found me in my element.
Big shout out Western Market for always keeping me in that wine department.
Oh, wow, I was there yesterday, so I hold them very near and dear to my heart.
Hell yeah! What'd you pick up?
A lot of stuff. I actually got some great suggestions from Diego. So it's a lot of natural wines. I got a lot of stuff from, I shouldn't say a lot of stuff, but I got some bottles from Eastern Europe. So I got a bottle of Hungarian white, which is exciting. My mom is from Hungary, so I always like to try some stuff from the family's motherland. I got a bottle from Croatia, and then some natural wines that are from California.
Ooh.
So I'm excited because that's what I've been doing with my quarantine, is learning more about wine.
That's a really good way to put it. That is a great way. Most people, they say, oh, I started drinking so much over quarantine. You turned it into education.
Yeah, I'm like, wine is now my quarantine hobby, so cheers to that. If I can't go to the Royce and Motor City Wine on a regular basis, then I guess I'm just gonna bring the wine party home.
I miss Royce. I miss Motor City Wine.
I know. We'll be back there. We'll be dancing again. And it's gonna be even that much more, I think, magical. So it's just, fingers crossed sooner than later.
Yeah, I agree. I want to get sweaty without my face sweating because of a mask.
Yeah, For real, for real. I want to be able to have some like close dancing to like friends and loved ones, and like it'll happen eventually. Fingers crossed. And it's been a long haul, but I have a lot of faith that like it'll happen. It's been an odd time, obviously, but I feel like when we come out of this, I'm hoping, I know for me personally that like those moments of like having those nights on like the patio of like Motor City Wine or like dinner at like Takoi or like whatever will be even like that much more magical. So like trying to stay optimistic about it all. So
totally. I can't wait. I can't wait to just see people hang out. Which I mean, today's a pretty important day. I mean, for the nation, for the United States in general.
Did something happen today?
I mean, hopefully everything that happened is just positive, and we can look at it in a positive way, because today is the transition of the office from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. So if you didn't know what was going on today, that's kind of everything that was going on today.
I actually thought it was really interesting that you and I, a Mexican man and a mixed woman, are doing sandwich talk on such a historically important day. So I feel like all the stars aligned kind of perfectly for this.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, honestly, I listened to the whole inauguration because I had to drive to Toledo and back.
Toledo?
Yeah, I had to drive to Toledo. I had to drop off Aunt Nee's over to the Whole Foods in Toledo.
Hey, see, always hustling. That's my guy.
Got to. It's the only way. That's how I've spent my quarantine, Sarah. How have you spent your quarantine?
It's been a lot of. It's been kind of boring. My cat's trying to get up here. It's been a lot of home renovation, which has been great, and it's been a lot of reading and drinking lots of amazing wine from a lot of amazing wine spots in the Metro Detroit area. And let's see what else. Oh, and it's also been a lot of kind of, I feel like we're very similar into we always are kind of very proactive, and in light of quarantine of kind of revamp the things that we love to do in a way that is safe and makes sense, but still is meaningful. So I've now been kind of taking on the new venture of selling really amazing sneakers and clothes online, which has been something that I've always loved doing. But I think that now, obviously for sustainability purposes, it's super huge for me, but obviously there are people that don't have access to going to stores right now. Sure. Because they don't feel safe, or they have an suppressed immune system. So I'm an avid thrifter anyway. So being able to provide that and do something that I really love and kind of, it's obviously got some environmental, perks to it of not having, people buying fast fashion and whatever, but that's been really great for me. And, and trying to support as many local businesses as possible right now. It's an odd time, but eating and getting carry out and wine from all these amazing places that we have access to in the city. And, doing what I can to help promote these places through social media, word of mouth. So I think it's, for people that are in light of everything going on, I think, it's really important. Love or hate social media. I think right now it's a really great tool to be supporting, local businesses and local artists and kind of spreading the word. So again, trying to have that optimistic look, outlook and everything that's going on. So I've been kind of loving being in the house with the dogs and my husband and getting stuff done that I've waited 3 years to do since we moved into our house. So, I definitely miss friends and dinner parties and dancing, but like I said, it'll happen again, hopefully sooner than later.
Totally. And you got the time to set it up, and you've got the time right now to do the things that you wanted to do. I mean, one thing, kudos to you, hardcore, for you were able to start doing the online thrifting through your Instagram before anybody else figured out how to shop without actually entering a store. It was really cool to see that you started blowing up just your Instagram with different things and items, and people were like, "Oh, cool, this is awesome. I could definitely pick this up. I could pick this up." And I was just seeing sold. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit. I think you started doing this before the pandemic.
It's funny that we actually did that event together at Marble Bar. And that was like the first time I kind of was like, I guess I'll take a stab at this. And it was really me just trying to get like some crap out of my closet that like I knew was cool. And I was like, I wanted to go to a good home, and it went really well. And that was kind of like the jump off of me doing this. So here we are.
And you were able to do it quicker than the majority of other people. I mean, the unfortunate part is a lot of these thrift stores were trying to figure out how to survive post-pandemic or during the pandemic. And you were able to do that. And a lot of people kind of took the cue of like, hey, you know what? A way to make easy money, or not easy money, but a way to actually, continue to provide for myself at this point in time is maybe to thrift as
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know. I feel like to me, there's something I'm always this person that's really interested in like the narrative of things. And I think it's really interesting when you go like thrifting, because like one, you never know what you're going to find. And you find these like incredible pieces that have like this amazing story that like I bought like this old army jacket not too long ago. And the guy that originally owned the jacket, his dog tags were in the pocket of the coat, which I still have. And I'm like, do I go on an adventure and try to find this guy? But like these amazing stories that have kind of like, I don't know, like not to be a cheeseball, but connected me to this like sense of humanity when the world's really disconnected and like chaotic right now. It's like that great moment to kind of give me personally a moment to like step back and realize the larger sum of who and what we are. And so that's been really interesting, of like buying a book from like a thrift store and like opening it and it's like dated and it's got somebody's name in it, and having these amazing kind of like narratives and stories to like the pieces that I'm buying, which I think it can also be said, obviously, like food, like to tie in, sandwiches and food is like, there's such a beautiful like narrative there. And I think that now that I'm home more and eating at home more, I'm recognizing all of these amazing stories and narratives of like the bartenders and the people that have been like so good, like feeding like me and my husband like during the pandemic, and remembering those stories and those narratives, and also using social media, like I was saying, to like tell these stories of, like Ema or Rocco's or, who or whatever it might be. I think it's really important. And I think I hope it continues after COVID, that, we continue to realize the importance of like the service industry and the hospitality industry and like the larger scheme of our lives. Like I know for me, I met my husband at a wine bar. So like, and like I've worked in the service industry, and I mean, obviously food is really important, but it's like, it's also just, I think it's really important of like the people that are the people that are serving our food, and the people that are serving us our cocktails and our drinks. And, it's been such a hard run for the service industry right now. And I keep in mind that like, a lot of times, I know for us, like we're so personally connected to a lot of these people just from, our backgrounds, but I think it's like so important that a lot of times people don't even kind of see them as having, like lives outside of like a bar or a restaurant. And I think it's been for me like really humbling too, to just remember that people have such a great skill and a talent, but they're also humans dealing with this insanity, and remembering like their narrative and their story in all of this, which is obviously, got some ups and downs in it. And I'm, fingers crossed, a lot of these amazing restaurants can fucking make it through the pandemic. Sorry for swearing.
No, we say shit like that all the time.
Potty mouth. I'm sorry.
You bring up a lot of great points about how, food has a narrative attached to it too. And that's something that I'm very much a firm believer in. I'm very proud to say that you can pick out almost any item in my house in general, and I probably have a story that goes with it. But in terms of food specifically, I really, really appreciate the narratives that come with the food, whether it's purchasing it from this person and that person's narrative, or even just the dish and why the dish was created and the history of a dish, or what even a dish would mean to a person when they eat it. That's something that means so much to me, because I know for a fact, like, when I taste something, I want to taste the story. I want to taste the elements.
Yeah.
I want to taste the culture that creates it and the people that make it, and enjoying that with the people that I'm with. That's something that all means so much to me in terms of flavor and tastes. And I know that there's flavors that I've grown up with that when I eat today, I still shed almost a tear, because it's just something that it just blows me away. It takes me back to my childhood, and that's something that, in today's environment, with everybody being so focused on, what to do, how to cook, or even how to support a local business, these are things that we have to keep in mind, as well as, like, what is the story and why am I doing this? And you bring that up, and it's a really great point.
And I think right now it's like food brings us so much comfort. Like, there's just like been my go-to, like, out and like meals that I've been eating for like during the pandemic, that I'm just like, man, like the forest udon at Ema is like, that's like my go-to like comfort dish of like, I've had a shitty day and like things are not okay today and I'm mad, and then literally like, and then the magic comes home, and it just like, there's just something about it. And I mean, obviously I love Michael Ransom, if we really kind of highlights some like amazing people. Like, I love him so much, and I distinctly remember we were at a mutual friend, Kevin Reynolds' wedding, and I think he was still living in San Francisco at the time, and he was like, I think I'm going to move back to Detroit and like open a noodle shop. And I remember being like, yeah, totally do it. And now it's like, it's literally like my go-to comfort food. So it's weird how it's like so weird how the universe works and makes these things happen. But like, I think specifically talking like about food and like the pandemic, of like having those go-to meals that make you feel loved and cared for and safe, and like you were saying, like conjure up these like beautiful like childhood moments. And I think right now, like food is it's so important, and it's, obviously like there are people that don't have access to food, which is like a whole another conversation. And for me, making me feel so grateful when I'm able to sit down and cook myself a meal and my family a meal, and like being always humbled by food and my access to food. But also like I feel like eating meals now during the pandemic, for me, it just means so much more. And like being able to have access and being able to like go to Ema and have, amazing udon, or going to get like a pizza from Parisi, or, it's been something that I think about a lot. I think that, there's obviously a lot of things to think about during, the 10 or 11 months we've been, quarantined. And food plays, for me, I mean, food plays a big part of my life anyway, just because I like to eat. But I think it's,
required. Food is my life.
my life. But like kind of like re-examining like, what food means in a sense of like community and comfort. It's been something for me that has been really important. And like, even like not to be like I normally have dinner with like my parents at least once a month, and like not having that opportunity, and like what those moments will mean to me of being able to sit down with my family again to like have a meal. And like that to me is really, it's been really humbling and thought provoking of, having these moments that are surrounded by food that are so epically important, and will be even that much more important once we pull out of this shit show.
I agree. And for that reason, let's jump into a quick sandwich. All right. So
first.
We've got the small boy first that we should open up.
What is it?
So close at the Charlevoix, if anybody at home hasn't heard of it, it's in Grosse Pointe Park. Really an amazing place. My buddy James works there. I told him we've got, my friend Sarah on the podcast. We want to do vegetarian, and he suggested for sure the main sandwich, which we're going to eat, but also this is these are the minis. This is a smoked tofu, buttermilk brine smoked tofu mini.
Oh.
So let's dive into this boy.
All right. I'm so excited. I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, man.
Right. So we're looking right here, like it's got, oh man, I'm going to show the camera this boy. So that's a nice piece of tofu right there, big old thick boy. We've got like a nice little cucumber slaw in it too. Looks like below here we've got like a sweet pepper jam.
Oh man, it's got like a crazy smoky flavor. Oh, this is good. It's got like a smoky flavor to it, and a little bit of heat. The crunch from the cucumber. Man, this is good. So I've been to the Charlevoix multiple times. I don't think I've ever had a sandwich. So this is from them. So this is amazing.
Oh God. Really good.
No, it's so good. It's like a hot pepper jam on the bottom?
Yeah, it's a hot pepper jam below. Definitely good heat. And the play of putting it below the tofu in order to get it immediately hitting your palate, immediately hitting your tongue, that's how you get that heat right there. Also, when you smoke tofu, what I really enjoy is how it also alters the texture slightly. It doesn't give you what is a spongy tofu, but instead it gives you almost a meaty type texture.
Like as a vegetarian, I stopped eating meat many decades, a very long time ago. And the one thing that I kind of really miss, like I always miss, is I always love that smoky flavor, because I feel like sometimes at like barbecues I'm like missing out of that, like, it's got that such a distinct flavor to it, and this is it's killing it. Oh, you're done? You crushed it.
Dude, this is so good. Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to be polite here.
I'm not.
I'm taking
on.
Okay.
That was great.
No, this is incredible. This like cucumber slaw. Like
it was like a cucumber, like almost like a tzatziki on top. Really good.
Oh no, this is 10 out of 10 would eat again.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm ordering that for sure next time. Are you kidding me? They hang on. You know what? Real quick, I need to crush on these boys. Casamayor Club boy.
Dude, I have some in my kitchen as well.
Hell yeah, go get one when we do the commercial break. My mouth is just on fire and I love it.
It's so good. But I feel like it's got a little bit from like the like cucumber boys that are on the top. It's got a little bit of the creaminess that like makes the heat of the jam like tolerable.
All right.
Oh man.
It really does. Yeah, it kind of cools it down a little bit.
Right.
So they wanted to make sure that I knew what the chicken version tasted like as well.
Okay,
so that's what this is right here.
Wow.
You're still going to town on yours. I'm loving the juiciness of it. Good buttermilk here. Damn, dude, I'm going in.
Yep. Yep. I'm hearing some crunch. I'm hearing some serious crunch.
It's a good chicken thigh. Big old piece of chicken thigh. Honestly, hang on. Let me do this again. It's good. It's definitely filling too. Like this whole thing is gonna fill me up. But I have to say I might like the tofu more.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Scandalous on sandwich talk today.
Really heavy crunch on the chicken. I'm loving it for sure.
Amazing. I also obviously have never had the wings from the Charlevoix, but I hear like that's like the go-to on their menu. Just for people that have never been there and are interested in trying food, I hear the wings are like the thumbs up, like 10 out of 10. Wow.
The batter on the chicken is super good. Yeah, so for their wings, they've got salt and vinegar wings, classic, Japanese style, Thai style, habanero honey, or dry chili wings?
I mean, I was raised by a man from Arkansas, so I know I don't eat. Chicken was actually the last thing I gave up before I became 100% a vegetarian. It was very because the chicken win. My dad is from Arkansas. I've got a very southern father that, I mean, it was like fish fries and fried chicken all the time in my house as a kid. So
wow.
Oh, look at, yeah. So
I'm super stoked on this. This is great. I'm glad that we got to try this place out. I've been wanting to try them out for a while. The unfortunate part with me working so much during a pandemic is I don't get a chance to just go out and eat anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's also something I feel like because of the pandemic, it's a luxury that I completely know that I'm very lucky to have. It's like the ability to like support like all these amazing restaurants of like getting carry out and being like, oh man, like let's, we've got like the go-tos and like being able to be like, oh, like let's try this new business that maybe we would not have tried, but like we definitely want to support in light of everything going on. So Charlevoix, I mean, I feel like living on the east side, I mean, that's like kind of like it's a go-to spot.
I definitely, if I lived in that area, I would definitely be going there fairly often, or at least ordering before they close.
Yeah.
The part is, usually by the time I get done with work, it's late. Nobody's open anymore for late night food because late night food, first of all, has always been a problem in Detroit. It's hard to get good late night food in the city. Unless
we got Dooley's.
And I still got Dooley's. I am a firm and avid Dooley's supporter. Always have been, always will be.
That's a place that honestly, like one of the things that I miss a lot is like going out and like dancing until my feet hurt and then being like, all right, guys, we're going to Dooley's for like the final part of the evening. So, I mean,
there, drunk, hammering out some pancakes, eating ham and cheese.
Eating I get the pancakes and a cheese fry, which I know is the most like disgusting combination, but clearly is like drunk food. Is like I very much miss that.
And I didn't ever think that I would say this, but also I miss Detroit 1.
Oh, but a classic, and understandable. D1. I mean, D1 lives deep in the heart of the city.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't think I'd ever say that, but yeah, I mean, there was a point in my life where it was like every weekend I was going to D1 at 3, 4 in the morning with like you or Felix or anybody the hell else.
Oh man, the crew.
The crew.
The heart. Oh, the crew. Classic. I'm curious as we're talking about like things we kind of miss in like food wise. What are like, we were talking about like comfort food. What have been like for you, not to flip it and question you, what have been some of like your comfort foods like in the past, couple of months, and by couple of months I mean like 10 to 11 months of like COVID, of like the food that like you're going to, or like the pop-ups you're going to that like you totally love, that like have really just made maybe things life a little bit more delicious than it has been?
I mean, there's a lot of different variables there, right? So like obviously at the beginning of COVID, at the very beginning, I was here at my house more than not, and I had the opportunity to get back into cooking the things that I miss doing, like experimenting with the different things or making fried rice. I was on a huge fried rice kick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Really killing it with that. I was back into dialing in with pizza, and I got really into working on Detroit style pizza again, and felt great about that. And then, once the summer hit, I was able really to jump back into like trying to support as many local businesses that were opening up outside as possible. Anybody that had a patio or even like a patio like a quote unquote try to faux patio it up. If you could do it, I was there. And I was just riding my bike everywhere, having a couple of drinks, eating some food, whatever it was, supporting the local businesses. And then transition now into soup season. I'm heavy into soups again, heavy into rice again, making a little bit more of the like fatty pastas at home. But then also because I'm working so much, I'm tending to eat any of the food that we're doing either with Kana at our Tuesday pop-ups. Every Friday and Saturday, we're different over at Kiesling, which has been like the home bar for the industry of the city of Detroit over the last 3-4 years since they've opened up. And that bar has allotted myself and John Jelinek of Pariah and Roast to kind of bring in our friends and family and do the different pop-ups that we've been wanting to have people do in our city, including like Verna. Verna's food is outstanding.
Yes.
Big shout out to Vals Pizza. She's, Val and Aaron started doing pizza out of their kitchens at home, and we're giving them the template of Kiesling and saying, let's go for it on a Friday and Saturday. And they're going to
I'm so excited. I'm going to get a pizza. I'm getting a lot of pizza from them this weekend, and I'm so excited. I mean, a lot of people know my love of pizza, but like I'm super excited. I feel like every time I've tried to order, it's like sold out, and I'm like, so I'm very excited to officially be in the I've tried Vals Pizza Club this weekend. So
for those of you watching, if you want to order Vals, you still can. Just go to their Instagram at Vals Pizza Detroit, I believe is their Instagram, or just type in Vals Pizza, and it'll show up. But if you haven't had a chance, if the online pre-ordering is sold out, that means that you can still come up and do walk-up on Friday and Saturday. They're leaving half of their ordering available to walk-up on both Friday and Saturday. So anytime you can come out, cool. We're going to have the scenario set up outside with the burners, the cocktail tables.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to come and bundle up and hang out.
Yeah, seriously. Bring a blanket. We've got a ton of cocktails to warm you up. There's going to be 2 warm beverages, plus there's going to be the broth that they're going to have for your French dip soup.
Oh, snap.
French dip pizza.
And this is something I commend you, and I think it just speaks to this amazing, like, can-do-it attitude that as Detroiters, we know that it was like, oh, okay, like, COVID happened, and like, let's figure out how we can like utilize these spaces and highlight these small businesses and restaurants and people that are doing pop-ups to like the best of our ability. And I think it's so commendable and so awesome that like people have this opportunity to like show up at Kiesling, and there's this like amazing rotating menu of everything from like pizza to crepes to whatever. Like, it's so cool. And so one, I mean, for you, like, I am so proud of you for doing that and making that something that's accessible. But I think that it really speaks to like the communal sense of our city that a lot of times people don't talk about. And I know we talk about it a lot. And I think it's super important, like in moments like this, that like, it's so important that we support our communities and we are giving money to, sorry, not Applebee's or Chili's. Sorry, guys. I do like a bloomin' onion, but I'm not gonna lie. I like a bloomin' onion, but like having these moments now, like, like supporting smaller businesses of like getting carry out or getting cocktails to go, or even if you like can't actually go and buy, something from these restaurants, of like, using your platform and using your social media to be like, hey, this is a super cool, pop-up that like a young woman is doing, or this is an awesome restaurant of like people of color are running, or, whatever it may be. Like I think that for Detroit, it just really speaks to, this is what we do. Like, this is what we do. I feel like I'm really blessed to live in a city and be a part of a great group of humans that are such ambassadors for like the city and for creativity, whether it be in the kitchen or if it's DJs or artists that like painting or drawing. And I'm hoping that, you know, when COVID ends, that like a lot of these pop-ups like actually can do something bigger and even better than like what they're already doing, which is exciting to me. Yeah. I'm excited to see like what, I mean, like if you can survive and do this now, like you're probably going to be fine after this.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Detroit's been a city of resilience ever since day one. And I mean, I'm just so proud to be a part of it, so proud to be ingrained in the culture here and have that say that I wear Detroit like a badge of honor anywhere that I go and always have. And now COVID, just another fucking wrench in the massive cog that is life. Here we are, still killing it as a city in some way, shape, or form. I mean, obviously, nobody's making oodles of cash here. We're not trying to make a ton of money, but we're just trying to lift up, support, and keep ourselves motivated, keep ourselves busy, and keep ourselves alive. And that's the way that we're doing it. That's the way we've always been doing it. I'm not here to try to get a BMW. I'm here to just try to make the car payment on my van.
There you go. But I think that's something that, like, I mean, Detroit is always, I mean, obviously, like, the long history of, you know, rich auto moguls. But I feel like at really, like, the heart of Detroit has been, like, really hardworking people that understand the importance of like grassroots organizing. And I mean that politically, but I also mean that from like a level of like art and food again, is like, you know, we're humble and I think we're very fierce. And like, I will never forget, I was in Chicago and some guy was talking shit about Detroit and I literally flipped around and I was like, don't you talk about my boyfriend. I'm sorry, what? And I was like, oh no. Like Detroiters, like we go real hard for this city. And I think if you know the people that we know who are doing what they do, of like the amazing people that are like, I mean, to have a place like Marble Bar or to have like, you know, like the list goes on. And like, I think that's something that to me kind of keeps my head above water a lot of times during days like this, is to know that like, yeah, I am 100% confident that Detroiters like we're so resilient. Like it's insane where it's just like, oh, okay, here's like another thing. Like put it, my sister has a saying when like shit starts to pile up where you're like, just put it on the pile. Detroiters are like, yep, like put it on the pile. Like we'll deal with it. I'm like, here we are. And, you know, I feel like, you know, obviously there's aspects of like that we're not dealing with it, which has to do with a lot of deeper systems, but I feel like in the like community level of like food in the service industry and I like DJ, like local DJs, like coming together and supporting each other and doing like live feeds and, you know, raising money still is it really is been those things that have like kept me going in these like very long, you know, 10, 11 months is like the pride that I have for like people that I'm so blessed and like lucky to call like colleagues and friends and like collaborators is like, it's insane. And people are like, well, okay, like we're still gonna like do a Twitch DJ feed and make sure that people have good music and like can dance in their pajamas like at their house is like, it's been really incredible. And I think it really speaks to the nature of Detroit, but like in the long run, really like the amazing nature of like and resiliency of like human beings to like really kind of keep going. So cheers to everyone. Can we just really like a quick like shout out of like, it's been not easy, but like, let's say that like we're here and we're doing it. And that to me is pretty incredible. So
cheers to the city of Detroit and everybody that's part of it.
Everyone that's fucking doing it.
You know, and you bring up a lot of valid points about the way that we've all bounced back. You know, amongst all the things that have happened, One thing that's really highlighted across just not even the city's landscape, but the nation's landscape and the world's landscape, is we've been able to highlight the injustices in the system even more so this year, and truly continue to bring about the voice as to why it matters and what we can do all together as a community, as a world, to make sure that, whether it's racial injustice or other injustices as well, all are tackled now, because right now is a time. And you're right, whether you've been an incredible DJ and an incredible voice in the city, you've worked with artists, you've done so much here in the city. It's hard to pin you down as just one type of person, because you are just this cloud of everything that's imaginative and beautiful of the city. And you've been able to then do that as well. And whether it's been raising money for relief of any single way you can, you, along with so many other people in this beautiful community that we have been able to create and still uplift that voice of the injustices, and continue to preach and speak the good word as to why we're doing this, and what makes us a community, and why we can continue to pull forward together and push each other forward. So,
oh man,
once again,
I want to do a fundraiser again. I want to start planning. I miss planning events so much, and I can't wait, because I've got some things up my sleeves that eventually will. But I think it is really important that, I don't know, I'm really lucky that I come from parents and a family that raised me to understand that, like, people do have a lot of power, and that's a lot of times why, and I will not get like deep into like the political, but like that's why they want to stifle people's power, is that they know that people are really powerful. And I think that really, to me, has always been a guiding light, and something I remember like from like a community level, is that, like, I might not be able to, make some serious change in Washington, D.C., but like I can spend my dollar really wisely, like within my community, of supporting like, businesses that are owned by women or minorities or immigrants or people of color or queer or Black or trans. And like that's really important and plays a huge part in like a lot of restaurants that I like support, where I'm like, oh, all right, like sweet. Like the Royce is owned by like an Asian woman. Like, let's do this. Like, absolutely. Especially like in the wine industry, when like you don't see a lot of that and you're not seeing a lot of diversity. And like, there are ways I feel like you can be political and not have to, go write rants or manifestos, but like speak with your dollar, or speak with the restaurants and stores that you're shopping at, or, the bars you hang out at, or like the music venues you hang out at, because they are supporting and booking, women DJs, or, DJs that maybe don't fit into like the comfortable, square of whatever we think that is. And that for me is, that for me is really, really important. And I think that, especially now when people don't necessarily have like a bunch of money to like donate to an organization, it's like if you can, or like even just spreading the word about, like I said earlier, like spreading the word about like these restaurants and bars and organizations that are doing the great work, and hiring diverse staff, and hiring people of color in places they normally wouldn't be. I think it's super important. And like, again, there are just places that I really miss, of like Marble Bar, Motor City Wine, where like you literally would like stop and you look, and it's like the most diverse crowd of like Black, white, straight, gay, old, young, lawyer, bartender, like it's really amazing. And I think, again, like supporting those spaces and those in those businesses are really, really important in any way that you can, especially now. I mean, always, but especially now. So, in small businesses, of like not support, like, sorry, keep picking in like Applebee's and Chili's and like.
Not to say that they're awful, but I just don't personally go eat there.
I'm sorry. I do like the bread from Outback Steakhouse. I've been there with my parents a couple of times, but like, you know, spend your dollar.
I mean, I'll take a blooming onion all day.
I love the blooming onion.
The blooming onion's great. It's the awesome blossom at Chili's.
Right.
Whatever chain restaurant you go to, ask for the onion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Garden.
Let's do a quick commercial break about one of our sponsors, Casamayor Club, and then when we come back, we have another sandwich.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Sandwich Talk is brought to you by Casamayor Club. Inspired by the history and traditions of Italian Amaro, these Detroit-based non-alcoholic beverages are balanced, buoyant, and food-friendly. Highlighting the natural vibrancy of farmed ingredients, you can currently find all 4 varieties available all across the country by checking out their website at CasamayorClub.com. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I support. I'm afraid to open it though because it's frozen. It was sitting on my back porch, so I'm gonna wait a minute. But like, I don't drink a lot of like like I don't drink pop like at all. And like every now and again, I want something carbonated. And like, I swear, like Casamayor Club, they didn't pay me to say this. This is my jam.
Yeah,
like it's so good. It's so good.
It's not super sugary at all. It's not like a soda or like that you're used to. This is just like if you've ever had just soda with bitters in it, like that's what it reminds me of, only just better.
It's so good. Also, I mean, I don't know who actually designed this, but there's like labels. But also, I'm not gonna lie, I got sucked into the marketing before I knew anything or who was like running Casamayor Club, and I was like, I don't know, this whole look of this like super like swanky bottle. And then I tried it and I was like, okay, this is the real deal. So honestly, it's so good.
Sarah, are you ready?
Okay, hang on, I'm reaching into my bag. We got the big boy.
All right, we got the big boy. This is the smoked mushroom and Swiss chard melt. Unfortunately, we've allowed it a little bit of time to melt into the bag. But look at this boy.
Oh, mine's okay. I'm unwrapped. Oh, I can't get into the sandwich fast enough.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited. Okay.
We'll offer the vegan option as well, but this is vegetarian. I'm just gonna cut this boy open in half. We're gonna see what we're working with here.
Oh my god, I'm really excited. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. That's what right there.
What is it a mayo? What kind of mayo? It's got like what's the sauce? What do we got? It's so good.
That creamy melted cheese right on top.
We got banana peppers, definitely. I got that. Is it a mayo?
It seems like it might have a mayo on it, but it's really mostly creamy cheese.
I'm a fan of condiments. I feel like the last time we did this together, we talked about mustard for like 40 minutes. So I'm back on the pro condiment conversation. This is so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mushroom is fantastic in here. It's super meaty.
God bless mushrooms, honestly. Like as a vegetarian. Oh my god.
The smoke really comes out of that mushroom too. That's nice.
It's so good.
Truly a good melt too. Like, so they have a list of different po' boys. You can do a shrimp po' boy, a perch po' boy, chopped cheese, like a true New York chopped cheese. But this boy is their vegan and vegetarian sandwich. So we got the veg version because we both fuck with cheese pretty hard. And it's good. Like I said, smoky mushroom in here, good crunch from the mushroom and the Swiss chard. Even if it's been sitting in my bag now for almost an hour of the podcast here, we've got it. It's delicious.
I was gonna say that. I was like, we've had these for a while before we're gonna enjoy them, and like the bread isn't soggy. Like it's like holding holding its own. Like a soggy sandwich is thumbs down. It's so good. The Swiss chard is, as a vegetarian, of having a lot of sandwiches where people don't know how to like cook vegetables and everything is just like mushy and gooey and like people overcook it and it doesn't have enough like crunch to it. Like this is legit.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something to be said too about the layering. So far, the 3 sandwiches that I've had, they understand the way that the palate hits in terms of where your tongue goes, what gets hit first, and then what that layering looks like. So they were able to do yellow banana peppers on top to give you that aftertaste, which really works well with it, offers another additional crunch texture-wise. The bun is really good. I like it too.
It's hard.
It's not like a hard roll. It's like a medium between hard and soft roll. I like it a lot.
It's so good. And like I know sometimes like Swiss chard can be like really bitter. And it's not bitter. It's so good. And it's still got a little bit of like crunch to it. I'm so glad that we picked Charlevoix. Like I said, I've been there before, but I've never had a sandwich. So now I'm like totally sold on the sandwiches there.
Hardcore. Me too. Legit. Like I'm super
so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm gonna have to save half of this for later because considering I'm already a sandwich and a half down or two and a half.
I'm gonna go into a food coma.
Yeah, right. I gotta ride a bike after this too.
I have to organize a spare bedroom that I've been waiting to organize for 3 years.
Next COVID project, yeah.
It is. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really happy that we chose to go here. It's a place that I've been meaning to try out, the Charlevoix. Like I said, my buddy James works there. He introduced me to the whole staff. Really cool people, truly.
Did you meet Brandon?
What's that?
Did you meet Brandon?
I met a couple of people. I don't know their names.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel bad because like if somebody introduces me to somebody right away, I'm just like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And then immediately I forget the name.
Oh no, I'm the queen of like, this sounds terrible. And I'm sorry. I'm going to incriminate myself, whatever. I'm very honest. We all know that I don't have a lot of a filter. I've met so many people and been like, oh, and then when I got married and Dima had not met these people, and I was like, introduce yourself so that you can get their name. So then I know their name.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the plan. And it's weird. Like I'll know people by their Instagram name, which is really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's, and then at blah, blah, blah. Like you can't say, hey man, what's going on? Like, so great example when John and I were running the pop-up, when we were doing something else, having another team come in, I saw his order come through, that one of the people at like Milwaukee had taken, and it didn't say his name, but it said his Instagram name, Court Deli. And I'm like, oh, so John's his real name. It's just Court Deli.
It's really, but that's actually kind of interesting that like people do identify, and you're obviously not the only person that does that, that like we are often identified by like our handles on social media, which is obviously a much longer conversation. I've had a lot of people yell, Lady Fantastic. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a real name. I've
been there. I was at Old Miami once to come visit you, and I saw some dude who I've never seen in my life before go, Lady Fantastic, and I'm like, does he know that you're a real person?
I am a real person. I am a real person. It's very true. I do eat real food, like sandwiches from Charlevoix. I am not a robot. Nope. I'm a real person. It is very funny when like those moments happen. I'm like really? Like I'm always like, I'm a very normal person.
I mean, I the fact that your name is Lady Fantastic, like you could just go as Lady Fantastic for the rest of your life. That's fine.
That started as a joke, though.
What do you mean it started?
I'm like, well, it was. I used to go to the casino on Christmas with my parents, and so we would like, get cocktails, and we would go on Christmas Day to the casino, and of course I would be sitting at like a slot machine like by myself, and there were like the casino creepers and be like, what's your name? And I would be like, Lady Fantastic. I didn't want to give my real name. And then Amy and I needed to put like DJ names on a flyer, and I was like, Lady Fantastic. And like now, like almost 10 years later, here we are. So be careful what name you give to creeps at the casino, because it might stick with you for decades.
Damn. Wow. I need to start thinking of better names to give to creeps, apparently, because Carlos is working.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Susan was one that I would give to people, which I have been called out. Sometimes people have been like, her name's Sarah. Why are you calling her Susan? I'm like, well, jig is up on that one. So, whoops, whatever. So,
I remember like one time I was in New York, and like I must have been drunk or something, because I was at a bar and somebody creepy was like, what's your name? And I gave like a fake name, but everybody was like immediately like, that's not your name. I must have said it like I just didn't believe in myself that was my name.
Wow, way to get called out.
I got called out hard. And I was
remember, if you ever gave a creep a fake name, I would never call you out.
Thank you.
I'm like, absolutely. His name is Marquise.
Well, then again, I mean, I also don't look like a Carlos. So like people actually call me out for that. They're just like, your name's not Carlos.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it totally is Carlos.
No, it really, here it is on my birth. It's a real thing.
And then it makes me question. It's like, okay, cool. So you like, do I have to look like a Carlos? Like, what does looking like a Carlos mean? Like, I don't get it.
No, believe me, I'm a Sarah Nicole. People are like, what? And I'm like, my parents, they thought I was gonna be a boy, and they had no girl names picked out. And I literally think my parents were like, we'll just push something together and figure it out very quickly. Because I believe my name was supposed to be like Andrew Michael or Michael Andrew. Wow. And then, I mean, didn't obviously pan out that way, because I was a 10-pound baby. Like really big shoulders. And this is like, I was born in like the late 70s, and they were like, oh shit, like it's a girl.
Same thing happened with me. My mom didn't know that it was going to be a boy or a girl, and she only had a girl's name picked out. My name was supposed to be Maria Fernanda.
I think you told me this before. I think we may have shared the story with each other before.
My name was supposed to be Maria Fernanda Parisi Garcia, and instead I came out as a boy, and my mom was like, I have no idea.
Carlos?
Yeah. So my dad was just like, I don't know, like what about Carlos? Because my dad's from here. My mom's in Mexico, and my dad he flew back into Mexico like when I was born. And he goes, how about Carlos? And my mom's like, oh, I like Carlos. Yeah, we'll do Carlos. And I asked my dad, why Carlos? Like years later, and he goes, oh, because Carlos Santana. He's the like best Mexican guitar player that I could think of.
Are you named after Carlos Santana? Oh man, my dad is like, I have a story that I probably am not going to tell on this. My parents are never probably gonna. They might watch this.
We'll wait till Sandwich Talk After Dark.
Oh my god! But it's really amazing where my dad just got really wasted at a Carlos Santana concert at Pine Knob, when it was still Pine Knob, that like he passed out and rolled down the hill, knocked down a bunch of white girls. And my mom, who was 5'2", my dad at 6'4", had to carry my dad back to the car with like the cooler. And to this day, my dad thinks he saw Carlos Santana in concert and did not, because he got too wasted before. So, Dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. You actually never saw Carlos Santana in concert. But, like, such a classic, like, that just is such a small blip of, like, my dad and, like, my family, of, like, my mom being 5'2", and, like, porcelain white, having to drag my dad, very dark, tall, black man, back to their car in probably like the mid-70s with like the cooler. Because like, let's not forget the like Coleman cooler full of like cocktails. Like, classic.
Before Santana even gets on stage.
No, and I'm pretty sure my dad is still convinced to this day, except now he knows, if he's listening to this or watching this, that like, he never saw Santana. But like literally to like at Christmas we'll like be talking about like music and concerts. Like that one time when I saw Santana, and we're like, no, dude.
You didn't see Santana.
Actually, no, you didn't.
I think the only concert that I remember being actually blackout for, I was 21 years old. Two of my best friends ended up going to see Huey Lewis and the News. We got free to see Huey Lewis and the News. So I remember we had a handle, like not a fifth, but a handle of Sobieski vodka. All three of us in the parking lot before going in to see Huey Lewis and the News. And that was just as embarrassing as what you just told me.
I'm more concerned about the Sobieski vodka that like literally made my like throat and stomach hurt, of just like, oh, there's a reason why I don't drink vodka anymore. It's because well, I mean, I'm married to a Ukrainian, so we do have vodka. We don't drink. I mean, Dima's the same way. He's like, I was drinking vodka when I was like 5, so like, no, but yeah, no. I did own a vodka business, so I mean, I also drink a lot of vodka then.
That's true. Another thing that you've done. Like, of all the things you've done, I almost forgot that you also were a part owner in a vodka business in Southwest Detroit.
I've done some things. I don't know. I'm very lucky that I've had so many like amazing opportunities to do a lot of really cool work. And it's also really, I remember when I was at a previous job and I was talking to like a coworker, and he was like, how fucking old are you? Because I feel like you literally, I was like, oh yeah, I did urban agriculture in Detroit. Oh yeah, I did this. And he's like, what have you not done? And I was like, I've never been a barista.
Hey, never say never. We're coming up on a time where you could start making some coffee.
I would totally do it. I would love to like have a couple days at like a coffee shop, hang out. Like, I love that like having like the regulars. Like, that was my favorite thing, working in like the service industry and like in bars and like waiting tables, was like having the regulars and like people that I still talk to and like people that I like have become friends with. It's like, there's a wine label called Source and Sink that is run by a friend of mine named Aaron, who I met because he was my regular at Mercury Bar. He now like lives in California, but like, it's like, again, going back, like looping this back to like a food thing, is like, I don't know if we would have ever met, and now have been like, he lives in California and like left his like this high profile job to like start a wine company, and he's like killing it. And, like they actually have it. They have it at Western Market, like the Roy. Like, I just have met so many amazing people through like my jobs, as a bartender and like as a waitress and like working in the food industry, that I don't think, one, a lot of people that I maybe would have never connected with, like, but people that I'm still friends with, and like obviously people that I worked with and I like bartended with and whatnot. But like, I think there's also that like amazing amazing like sense of just like you just meet so many like weird, eclectic, like awesome people from like the food industry. It was like there are people like I'm a huge fan of Cheers, the TV show.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like it really is like it's that like you want to go to that place that like everyone knows your name and you feel comfortable and like it's this weird like microcosm / like adopted family. It's like I'm obviously a very social person and it's something that like me is like partly why I like going to restaurants, like going to bars. It's like, yeah, like drinking is really great and eating like good food is really great, but it's like, who's the person I'm going to sit next to, or like who is going to be, you know, waiting on me, where like we strike up a conversation and it's like some weird, weird conversation of like, I don't know, about anything or everything, or like, I mean, I think of Dima being like, yeah, he's like, I first saw you singing karaoke at New Dodge Lounge, and I'm like, I don't know why you even wanted to talk to me after that. Holy shit, bless my husband. But like,
New Dodge.
having those moments of like meeting, like, and then we finally met at like Motor City Wine and having bars and restaurants being these like amazing spaces where like you meet amazing people like over the love of music or food or you know, whatever it may be. And I love going out and having a good meal, and I think of like all of the amazing people that I've met because of like food.
I first met my girlfriend over a sandwich.
See, and like I just like, you know, like when I lived in Woodbridge, of like Woodbridge Pub, and like,
oh my god, yeah, and just Woodbridge in general.
Oh my god, like humans and like
real quick, I want to ask you. You have to answer this super quick though.
Okay.
If there's one person on the show Cheers that you could hang out with, who would it be?
Oh man. Okay, so I gotta pick one because I'm torn between
one person. Quick.
I would go with Carla.
Nice. Good one.
Like she's sassy and she's got a mouth, and I feel like her and I would get along very well.
She's hardcore. She's resilient. She's a badass, but she also has a big heart. Yeah.
I feel like Carla and I have a lot of things in. We're very similar in a lot of ways. He's
for me, it would be Coach.
Who? Coach.
Coach.
Classic.
I love Coach.
And going back to the older days of Cheers.
Yep.
Which often, you know, Ted Danson takes the cake for a lot of people. And I mean, Sam Malone, but Coach was like so dopey and like and like derpy and like the best possible way. Like,
yeah, you love Coach. You love
his derpy uncle.
Coach. Yeah, he's everybody's uncle. He's everybody's coach. He's just a good guy. Hey, listen, we got to wrap up. But before we do, I wanted to make sure, how do we, you know, what kind of things can we look out for from you? How do we follow you on social? How do we know about the clothes that you're putting up? Like all this kind of stuff.
All right. So I'm on Instagram as Lady Fantastic Detroit, which is my personal account where it's more of like a lot of political memes and pictures of my dog. I also have an account called Wabi Sabi 313, which is the clothing account. I'm on Depop. I'm on Facebook under like my real name because I am a real person, which is Sara Aldridge. And I am kind of plotting and planning to do some larger events where we can bring DJs and pop-ups and sellers of like vintage clothing and all of that stuff together when the time is right. So that's kind of what I've been kind of planning, and I don't know what it looks like, but I know that it will happen. And I really want to be able to just use my platform of helping to promote like local businesses and sellers. So that will be hopefully in summer or late summer or fall.
Give me 3 Instagram accounts that people need to follow.
Oh, 3 Instagram accounts that people need to follow. I would say influencers in the wild, just because it's ridiculously funny, and I think that we all can use a really good laugh right now.
It's a lot of this.
It's just really funny. I don't know. I lived in a time before like social media, like not to say like I'm so old, but like so I find that very really funny. I would say my other favorite Instagram, like what are like my go-tos? I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be around, but there's an account called We Fucking Hate Donald Trump, which is incredible. But now that he's not around, I'm anxious to see like what they do. Donald Trump. And then my third, I will give a shout out. There's an amazing designer, graphic designer. Her name is Morgan McPeak. She's also in a band called Double Winter that is, done some amazing things. But she is one of my favorite graphic designers, and I would definitely follow her.
Big shouts to Morgan for sure.
I love her.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You know I love you so much.
I love you.
Everything that you've always done for the city, for everybody always around you, has just been lovely, and it's been magnificent to see you grow with the city and have the city grow with you. There's so much that I can say about you. There's so much that I've told you to your face, and if I ever talk about you behind your back, it's only the best things.
It's all right.
So much. I'm so happy.
I'm like, talk about me behind my back. It's cool.
I want to make sure that I thank everybody at home for checking out the show. I want to thank the Planet Ant team, everybody that's part of Planet Ant, whether it's on the social media side, at the home team, always doing the improv on Mondays. Anybody that's doing any of the shows right now on the Planet Ant network, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. I want to thank Mike McGettigan for putting us on. I want to thank Parker Hammond, Zach Bridges, Danny Veer, our Mustard Valet, Michael Zuber, Mailman Carl Malone, my chief, Miles O'Brien. The Bushwick, the intro music is Bushwick Tarantella. The ad-read music is Lobby Time, both by a guy named Kevin McLeod. And of course, I want to make sure that I thank everybody at home again, because you're all checking this out. You guys are the reason why I do this show. It's the reason why I love to talk about sandwiches, specifically here in the city of Detroit, but also we've expanded outwards. Check out the shows that I've done with my Chicago friends. Check out more shows on Planet Ant Network. All the sandwich talks are available there. And please check out Lady Fantastic Detroit, Sara Aldridge, on Instagram, Wabi Sabi, always doing really cool new outfits and stuff. Pick it up. So everybody at home, I hope you guys got hungry. Oh, and of course, thank you to the Charlevoix.
Charlevoix. Oh my God, the sandwiches.
The Charlevoix this week.
Weird. I'm choosing them right now.
Check them out, because I'm going to again and again. Get that tofu, get the chicken, and definitely get the smoked mushroom. I love you all. I hope you guys got hungry. Have a great day and happy sandwich.
Bye. I love you guys. Thanks. Stay safe.